move ahead if the president continues to refuse to concede?
Well, look.
Move ahead if the president continues to refuse to concede?
Well, look. Access to classified information is useful, but I'm not in a position to make any decisions on those issues anyway. There's one, as I said, one president at a time, and he will be president until January 20th. It would be nice to have it, but it's not critical. And we're just going to proceed the way we have. We're going to do exactly what we'd be doing if he had conceded and said we've won, which we have. And so there's nothing really changing.
But not ruling out legal action?
No, I don't see a need for legal action, quite frankly. I think the legal action is you're seeing it play out, the actions he's taking. And so far, there is no evidence of any of the assertions made by the president or Secretary of State Pompeo.
Well, I am a couple minutes late. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't even think this mic is on. I'll use a different mic. Yeah, but that was our president-elect, called by everybody except for Republicans. President-elect Joe Biden. You guys got what you wanted. Hopefully you can hear me. I see sad faces. Why sad faces? Yeah, so new president though, Joseph R. Biden. And so as you can see in the clip, it was sorry the question got cut off, but she was pretty much asking, for those of you that don't know, once you become the president-elect and the other person concedes, you start sharing information so that the transition is smooth. When you go into the White House, you're already kind of up to date on kind of what's going on. So your day one or whatever, you can step right in and start doing stuff or have those relationships that you need to have, like whatever the case is. But of course, we have a president in there. We have a president in there now that, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, we all know the reason, that he don't want to concede and say that he lost. Therefore, they're not sharing that information. White House secretaries are, I don't mean literal like assistants or whatever, but people in those positions are refusing to share information. So just all that type of stuff, just going on, which, we've been doing this for 4 years. There's no reason why we didn't see this coming, why we shouldn't see this coming. This is Donald Trump we're talking about. So, I don't know what we was expecting. We were expecting him to bow out gracefully. You know what I'm saying? Like, what were we really, thinking was going to happen? Because this is par for the course for me, for what I figured. I read just before I came on that in Georgia, for whatever reason, Georgia still counting votes. Nevada's still counting votes. I think Pennsylvania is officially done, but it's been over a week now and they're still counting votes, which is kind of absurd, a little bit. Like, you think they would just hire some help and get people in there, but they didn't. And whatever. So anyway, Joe Biden in Georgia, his lead has increased, I think, over 14,000 votes now or something. So once you get out of that half a percentile, there will be no recount unless Trump asks for it or whatever, which I'm sure he will, and it'll just be a whole thing. But you haven't been on Twitter much. I haven't seen Mike Pence since the election, so all those things are good. Are good to me. Andrew said, "I hear you," which is great. Chanel said, "They both seem like jokes to me." Both candidates? Like, what do you mean they both seem like jokes? both. I'm assuming both candidates, him and Joseph. So a lot of people felt that way. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, you gotta pick one of them. And even if this is another lesser of two evils situation, I guess that's what you gotta do what you gotta do. Uh, it does suck that so many people feel that way. I don't feel like you're alone in that. Um, it's a way better way to vote. I'm telling people, it's a way better election processes out there um, that is in use in certain states, but not all of them. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's it's a topic already covered. Go back and look. It's ranked choice voting. It's probably my favorite show I did because I learned so much, and I feel like people was able to learn so much about like an entirely new way to vote. I think it's the best way to go. What else? Uh, so although Trump and Mike Pence haven't been seen like at all, um, Trump's personal attorney Rudy Giuliani has been out here making a fool of himself. Um, for those of you that didn't hear the story, I feel like I keep saying that, but they called a press conference in Philadelphia to like demand um, not a recount, but like just to demand transparency when counting votes. Um, so they called a press conference at the Four Seasons, which everybody should know that's a hotel chain, a pretty upscale, higher level hotel chain. But come to find out, they called a press conference. Like clearly somebody got it wrong, but they called a press conference at Four Seasons Landscaping Company, which is a landscaping company in Philadelphia. So they literally had to, for no other reason other than to save face, had to do a press conference outside of a landscaping company, like which the old cement building, the garage door, like the it's just a regular warehouse. You know what I'm saying? So in order to save face, they legit did a press conference at a landscaping company. Like it's very ridiculous, and I don't know. That just tells you like the lengths that these people will go to in order to save face. You know what I'm saying, for something that they feel like they have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand when their own network, like Fox News and all these places are, saying that there's been no evidence of voter fraud, and we calling Joe Biden the president-elect too. So like they really have no basis for anything. And now they're just grasping at straws. Like that's it. Without Trump saying anything or doing anything, like just refusing to say I quit, like nothing is going on. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden, on the Trump side, sorry. Joe Biden has started to get his staff together, kind of start doing committees as best as he can. I think Angel sent me something earlier about like his plan as far as like buying guns. So I'm sure Byron will be interested in looking at that because he's a one issue voter. So he'll be interested in that. But yeah, just small things that will be bigger when you get in the White House. But like starting to put together like a real coronavirus task force to with reputable people to start handling that as soon as you get in there. And that's another reason why like the information exchange is so important. So he can, like I said, like actually have access to more information when he's coming up with these, his plans and stuff. But we all know Trump wouldn't participate and like be a fair player in that. So What else? Joe Biden. For those of you that didn't see the acceptance speech or his, I guess, first address as the president-elect, you should go back and watch it. His was pretty cool. Kamala Harris's was actually pretty good. And her speech is only maybe about 10 minutes, so it won't take you long. I actually got a clip of it on the end of the show. For those of you that stick around, if you don't watch this live, like if you come and watch it later, that part probably going to be cut out for copyright reasons. Even though I put respective owners in the description all the time, but for whatever reason, I get flagged every time. So, nothing I can do about that. Chanel said, grudgingly, I voted for the lesser of two evils, like he said. Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel like what evils do you feel like Joe Biden? Why do you feel like he's one of the evils? Clearly, Donald Trump has given us plenty. I mean, plenty of evils. And I'm not saying Joe Biden hasn't. I'm just saying, like, for you, what makes him one of the two evils? I'm just curious because everybody got their own opinion. Everybody got their own reasons of why they say what they say. People do their own different levels of research. So just curious. What about you, Angel? Do you feel like you voted for the lesser of two evils? And if so, why was that person the lesser of two evils if you did? Because, and I'll tell you this while y'all type, while Joe Biden wasn't he wasn't my top 3. He might have been number 3 on my top list of people that I would have liked to see as a president. Like he was still on the list, I guess. And yeah, he said some wild stuff when he was younger. You know what I'm saying? But who hasn't? Especially in politics, like who hasn't? For those of you that have been watching this, this is episode 31. So for those of you that's been watching it from episode 1 and 2, I was a Pete Buttigieg guy, like early. Then when he dropped out, I was a Bernie guy, and then Joe Biden at the end. But yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that he was adamant about being diverse in his not only his vice president pick, like he said from the beginning that his vice president would be a woman. And then I think later he said like a woman of color. But just that alone would, I don't know, gave me enough of an idea of the type of person that he like wanted to be, or even if it's just perception, because I don't know to do. You know what I'm saying? It could be all perception. You know what I'm saying? But it let me know that he was trying to do something. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do something that was different, trying to be more inclusive. And man, for those of you that know white people or have white friends or whatever, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, until they spend time with black people, like they don't know, like everything black people do to white people is like scary, or you know what I'm saying, because it's unknown to them. So you don't really know until you get black friends and constantly around black people that this is how black people are, or this is how they talk, or this is how they joke around or whatever. And I'm not saying it took all the way up until he was Barack's vice president, but when you spend time around like different cultures and stuff, and you open your mind up to different ideas and different ways of doing things and different thought processes and all that stuff, like it can open you up to where you are a different person or a changed person. The same way where if you didn't go to church and then you started going to church, like it might open up your mind to something different, a different way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying he's perfect by far, because he got a lot of stuff he did. Kamala Harris got a lot of stuff she did. But I didn't feel like, although they wasn't my first or second pick. I didn't feel like this was a lesser of two evils this time, even though I know a lot of people were so committed on doing whatever they had to do just to get Trump out of office, which, ultimately is not a bad thing either. Chanel said, my simple answer would be he is not professional to me. Joe Biden's not professional? Huh. All right. Like, I'm sure, like, I'm not ridiculing you or anything like that. Like, I'm sure you got your reasons. I'm sure you got your, your video clip you've seen or whatever the case is. So I'm not shooting it down. I just, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that would say I'm unprofessional. I don't know. Maybe I might have missed something. Like, I don't know. But that's cool. That's fine. That's what you feel. I'm down with that as a reason. I know you said it's a simple answer too, so it might be more complex. But even as a simple answer, that's your answer, and I respect it. So more about the election or election day. Like I said, anybody that's been watching this show for any length of time, or follow me on social media or whatever, I've said it 1,000 times that the Senate race is way more important than the presidential race. Because if you had a president, you don't have a Senate, it'll be just like when Barack was in office, everything you try to do, they shut down because they're kind of in control. So in Georgia, which is where the slow votes, like I said, are still trickling in somehow, there are 2 Senate seats that are up for re-election. Both of the races, both of the, I think I kind of talked about it last week, but both of the Senate seats are going towards like a recount or a runoff, I guess. So you rerun, I want to say one of them is late November, and one of them is at the beginning of the year. They both might be at the beginning of the year. I can't remember. This is Georgia, so I'm not really privy on their laws and stuff. But those 2 Senate seats are way, 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 way more important because we're able to win both of those Senate seats. The Democrats are able to win both of those Senate seats. Then you flip the House, right? So you flip the House. Mitch McConnell is no longer the Speaker of the House. You have a Democratic Speaker. I'm sorry. Let me back up. So Democrats win both of those seats. It'll be a tie. The tiebreaker would then go to the Vice President, which in this case would be Kamala Harris. So she'll be able to break the tie, which of course she would break the tie for her team, which means we will have a Democratic Speaker of the House, which means we would then control the executive branch, the president's office, as well as the House of Representatives and the Senate. So then getting laws passed will be, way, 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 it's almost a given. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there'll be some pushback, but when you got the numbers, you can do anything you want to do. And that's kind of what we're shooting for. So those 2 Senate seats, super crucial. It's nothing, I live in Ohio. There's nothing we can do. I don't know if we have any listeners in Georgia. I know we have some, all around the country or whatever, but I don't think we have any in Georgia. Or we do. Thanks for watching. Go vote for your Senates when the race come back up, I guess. That's all I can say. So getting all the stuff that Trump did reversed will be easier. Actually getting laws instead of like executive orders in place will be easier. And that's the key to it. So even if Donald Trump would have won re-election and you control the House and the Senate, you can pass laws, like not executive orders, not stuff that has an expiration date. You can actually pass laws and make amendments to the Constitution. You actually can do actual work in Congress, and that's what we need. So it's much more important than the presidency, but having a presidency is cool too. Especially just being a figurehead to the rest of the world is important. Chanel said, "I'm digging a VP though. If it puts mine at ease, And nobody's uneasy. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's entitled to their opinion. So if that's what you feel. If you feel like he's the lesser of two evils, that's fine. Like nobody's beating you up for it or anything like that. What do you like about the vice president though? Like what do you like about Kamala Harris? Is that she a woman? Is she a woman of color? Like is she saying stuff that's actually putting you at ease? Or like do you feel like not voting? Do you feel like when you voted for Biden and you voted for her, like, is she not part of that lesser of two evils? You know, a lot of people like to bring up the fact that she had the crime bill in California and put all these black people in jail and all, you know, all the stuff that she did or you know, let me just say this real quick on that part. Like, she was the attorney general. Like, the attorney general works for the people. The attorney general prosecutes criminals on behalf of the people. They elected her to that position. And she did her job so well that they said she was picking on black people, which might have been the case to a certain extent, but all she's doing is her job, which is the prosecutor. Like, it ain't her fault that the police agencies are, you know, discriminatory and bringing in nothing but black criminals. So the people that they brought before, she did her job and prosecuted the people, the criminals that was brought before her on behalf of the people. Like, so she was just good at her job. So I don't think that, I don't know. I don't think people understand that position. Like, she was elected by the people and she did her job. When you want to talk about the police bringing in nothing but black people, nothing but Hispanic people, then that's a different conversation we could have. Chanel said she's digging the vice president because she's cute. Fair enough, I suppose. Erica said, I'm cool with anybody but Trump. Yeah, a lot of people said that. Erica, I don't remember who was it, like your pick, like way back when, like this episode 31, way back in episode 1 or 2, we was talking about like who was our people at the time. Like when the field it was like 12, 14 people when it was crazy. Like who was your person early, Erica? I'm just curious to see how far, whoever your initial thoughts were, like how far that person is from like Joe Biden. Are you burning early? Okay, that's cool. I couldn't remember. Of course, it was too many people to remember everybody's, but like Bernie was like number 2 on my list and all that stuff too. So in that case, he's nowhere near Joe Biden and most things, you know what I'm saying, and most politics, political ideas. So yeah, so I can see you. I don't even want to say the lesser two evil. I can see you just saying anybody but Trump at that point, just like most people was anyway. So no, I get it. I understand it. So the vice president, I think. I don't know. I probably would have preferred her. I think I said this a long time ago. Would have preferred her to be the attorney general of the country, since that's what she got her background in. But I'll take her. And so far, she's said the right things and done the right things. And besides that, her phone call to Joe Biden right after they found out it was winning, or right after they found out they had won. Besides everybody making joke videos out of that. Everything she's done has been pretty good. So, so yeah, no, that's all I got on her for real. That's it. That's it for me, man. So we got a winner. Joe Biden is the president-elect. Donald Trump won't concede, so Joe Biden is not able to get that information that most transition teams share, so that the transition will be smooth in January. But like I say, I played in the video at the beginning. Joe Biden said he's going to do, you know, he only can do what he can do. So he's going to, you know, start making the teams as he can, use the ideas that he can, use his experience from being in the White House beforehand, and actually going through the process in the reverse way with Mike Pence. You know, just trying to get it done, trying to get it settled. Eventually, Donald Trump will have to concede, and if he don't concede by next week show, by next Wednesday, I want to talk about what the Constitution says, what's the political process if he refuses to concede or refuses to leave the White House, like what actually happens if he don't. And if he do concede by then, I don't know, we'll talk about something fun and upbeat, I suppose. Because then we can actually celebrate the fact that we live in a democracy and not some third world country where leaders don't leave. Like, it just don't make sense to me. Erica said, I like Joe. He was close to the Obamas. That's not a reason to like somebody. That's not a reason to like somebody. But I don't know if you was in here when I was saying it about a lot of people that said like Joe Biden wasn't, what he did in his past and stuff. I have to use an example of if you had a white friend that didn't have any black friends, or whatever, and they thought some way about you or thought some way about black people or the culture, and then the more time they spent with you, the more time they spent and got to see you and understand your culture and understand everything that you got going on. It just expands their minds. It expands their that's funny. It expands their thinking, and they think outside of the box, or they think bigger than themselves. They think about other stuff, and then as you guys' relationship builds, and they just start caring about different things. I think Angel said it a bunch of times. I think multiple people said it. I remember her saying, like, you don't really care about stuff until it affects you. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a black boyfriend now, or if you got a black son-in-law or something like that, where like police brutality that wasn't a thing for you, but now it's a thing for you. You know what I'm saying? So nothing. So it's more than just what he did in the past. Is how you grow as a person, and then being around Barack. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that grew up in Chicago, whatever, they can say, hey, this is like what people really go through, and then you can be sympathetic to that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, it's just different ways of looking at it. Erica said Joe's story is deep too. It is a lot of pain and heartbreak and losing kids and all type of stuff, man. So it's definitely not one of like my dad gave me a small loan of $1 million. You know how much $1 million was in like the early 80s, late 70s, or I don't even know when his dad allegedly gave Trump that money, but like, how much $1 million was in the late 70s and early 80s? Like $1 million now is the equivalent of like $40 million then. I'm sorry, like $27 million then, which is still a lot of money. So Joe Biden got that background. So hopefully, what I'm saying, now, like, I'm not being complacent. I'm not gonna let Joe Biden off the hook. Like, he better be doing the shit that he said he was going to do. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, and it might not. Like, it might not just be like black people just can't win ever. Like, who knows? But I feel like we got a better shot at it with Joe Biden than Donald Trump. I just do. So I don't know. But that's it for me. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna play this Kamala Harris, just a little snippet of her speech. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, just go on YouTube. It's only about 10 minutes. It's actually pretty good. The Joe Biden speech, I didn't make it all the way through, but he was cool. You're gonna say the standard stuff, but I kind of wanted to see what Kamala Harris was saying. Like I said, just go Google it, YouTube, or whatever. It's up there. And like I said, if you're watching this later and you don't see this next video part, copyrights, there's nothing I can do about it. I put it in the comments every single time, but it don't always work like that. So yeah. So like I said, next week we'll be talking about what happened if the president don't concede and leave the White House, or we'll be celebrating the fact that we live in a democracy. Y'all need anything else, let us know. We are working on the store and shirts and all that stuff for sale. So Be on the lookout. Of course, we'll make a big announcement. We'll make a thing of it when we get to that point. But we are working on it, so just be patient and keep looking out. And thanks for the support as always. We appreciate you guys. Looking forward to seeing you on Sunday to talk about a real topic instead of whatever we got sidetracked this last Sunday. And I'll see y'all next week and play this out here. Salute to the city as always. Be safe and wash your hands, man. Oh, and you live in Ohio. Mike DeWine just said he's shutting down gyms and bars and fitness centers and let me see what else real quick before I get out of here. He's shutting down bars, restaurants, and fitness centers, and there's a couple other things, but it got cut off. So you live in Ohio, you better go enjoy it this week because next week is over with. Over with. All right, I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all next week. See y'all Sunday.
And about the generations of women, Black women, Asian, white, Latina, Native American women, who throughout our nation's history have paved the way for this moment tonight. Women who fought and sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and justice for all, including the Black women who are often, too often, overlooked, but so often prove they are the backbone of our democracy. All the women who have worked to secure and protect the right to vote for over a century, 100 years ago with the 19th Amendment, 55 years ago with the Voting Rights Act, and now in 2020 with a new generation of women in our country who cast their ballots and continued the fight for their fundamental right to vote and be heard.